Imagine stepping into your pasture at dawn and spotting two dark, massive silhouettes moving with the authority that elite homestead genetics command. At first glance, they look like identical carbon copies. You see pitch-black feathers flashing emerald green, perfectly serrated red combs, and imposing chests. But making the rookie mistake of confusing them will cost you months of wasted feed and lost profitability. If you plan to add either of these birds to your flock, it's vital to identify their structure and tell them apart from day one. Physically, they deceive the untrained eye, but their metabolic engines serve opposite functions. One is a relentless machine, calibrated to fill your nesting boxes daily. The other is a meat-producing titan, a walking mountain of protein bred specifically to dominate the farm scale. We're looking at the head-to-head clash between the Jersey Giant and the Australorp, two heavyweights sharing the same dark plumage, yet heading toward different agricultural destinies. Today, we break down every fiber of their design. Let's begin. To understand the Jersey Giant, you first need to grasp the ambition of its creators. Back in the late 19th century in New Jersey, brothers John and Thomas Black were on a mission to dethrone the turkey as the premier roasting bird on family tables. To achieve this, they fused the heavy genetics of the Black Java, the Black Langshan, and the Dark Brahma. The result of blending those massive bloodlines was a structural colossus. This bird prioritizes the foundation of a heavy, rock-solid skeleton long before it ever begins to pack on muscle mass. This specific fowl was never designed for the hurried pace of modern commercial sheds. It was crafted for the patient homesteader who values ultimate final volume and traditional quality, a seasoned breeder willing to let nature expand that massive bone structure before expecting a harvest. When we talk about the harvest scale, the Jersey Giant faces zero direct competition in the world of traditional purebred poultry. A well-developed flock sire can easily push past 13 pounds once he reaches full maturity. That is an extraordinary amount of weight that you feel straining your forearms when lifting these impressive specimens. The hens certainly hold their own, reaching a respectable 10 pounds without breaking a sweat. This massive bulk isn't loose fat, but a dense bone structure layered with firm muscle tissue. Watching them forage is a sight to behold. Their strides are deliberate and ground-pounding. You'll never catch this massive powerhouse flying over a tall fence or fleeing in a panic. Their immense body mass anchors them firmly to the earth, turning them into relentless foraging machines. Now, the real challenge for the astute breeder is knowing how to recognize this dark giant without needing to put her on a digital scale. The definitive visual traits hide right there in their shanks and eyes. The legs of a pure black Jersey Giant should display a dark, deep willow hue, but the unquestionable clue lies squarely on the soles of their feet. If you pick up this bird and inspect the bottom of her foot, you'll see a distinct, pale yellow coloration. That yellow sole is the genetic signature that separates her from cheap imitators. Furthermore, their eyes possess a deep, dark brown tone, giving them a piercing, focused gaze. Their overall posture betrays their heavy heritage as well. They boast a long, broad horizontal back. It looks exactly like a sturdy workbench, an anatomical design engineered to support their enormous body weight without ever losing balance. This monumental volume comes with a specific price tag that you must pay with your time. Unlike today's fast-growing broiler hybrids, the Jersey Giant operates on a highly methodical biological clock. During the first 6 months of life, you'll notice the bird growing tall and long, constructing what we call the primary chassis. Throughout this phase, they look gangly and thin. Every ounce of their metabolic energy goes directly into lengthening those massive leg and breastbones so they don't collapse under their future adult weight. It's only after crossing that half-year mark that they finally begin to widen out and fill that frame with solid meat. To achieve a carcass with a volume worthy of a spectacular holiday roast, the optimal butchering window sits right between 8 and 9 months of age. This is a long-term homesteading project aimed at undeniable excellence. That same unhurried pace reflects directly in their reproductive cycle. If you expect these young pullets to start filling your egg baskets early in the season, you're setting yourself up for serious frustration. The sexual maturity of the Jersey Giant is delayed by design. A young female of this lineage won't step foot inside a nesting box with intentions of laying until she reaches at least 6 to 7 months of age. Her entire metabolic engine is hardwired to ensure her body achieves the necessary size and bone density to handle constant egg production without pulling calcium from her own skeleton. This is a masterful biological blueprint where the absolute priority is the physical toughness of the hen herself, rather than a frantic rush to reproduce. Once that laying engine sparks to life, the Jersey Giant proves to be a respectable egg producer for her enormous size. She consistently delivers between 150 to 200 eggs per year. We're talking about premium-grade eggs that classify as large to extra large, often weighing well over 2.5 ounces each. The shell color ranges across a beautiful palette of earthy brown tones, speckled with dark freckles that give them an unmistakable rustic appeal. The structural quality of the outer shell is thick and durable. This toughness is ideal for supporting the heavy weight of the birds themselves when they decide to incubate a clutch. However, due to their sheer massiveness, the breeder must keep a watchful eye so they don't crush their own nest. Out on the open pasture, we're looking at the pure archetype of the gentle giant. Despite their imposing size and dominant visual presence within the flock, the Jersey Giant possesses a docile, relaxed, and predictable temperament. They're calm birds that avoid starting friction with the smaller, high-strung breeds sharing the coop. The males act as vigilant bodyguards for their flock, yet they show an incredible calmness toward their keepers. This docility, combined with their physiological inability to launch themselves over high obstacles, makes managing them on pasture an absolute pleasure. They don't demand restrictive fencing. They're steadfast foragers, marching through the tall grass and hunting down natural protein with an efficiency that sharply reduces your feed bill at the main trough. While the deep black plumage with green iridescence forms the historical foundation of this lineage, the relentless work of dedicated purists established other impeccable color varieties. Today, the white variety stands out, emerging from organic mutations within the original breeding stock. These albino giants retain the exact same colossal structure, bringing a massive advantage to the processing table. The complete absence of dark pin feathers on the skin, offering an immaculate visual finish for demanding customers. Following that, the majestic blue variety emerged through strict genetic management. This slate gray powerhouse adds a touch of elegance to the Homestead, keeping the massive volume and gentle nature that cemented the breed's prestigious reputation completely intact. Where the Jersey Giant unleashes its maximum impact on a working farm is the immense genetic power it brings as a foundation for strategic crossbreeding. A smart breeder knows that a foundation rooster from this line is an invaluable asset. If your dual-purpose hens are losing size over generations, introducing Jersey blood injects an immediate, massive expansion into the chassis of the offspring. This genetic collision results in rustic pasture chickens with thicker shanks, expanded backs, and an astonishing capacity for muscle retention. Utilizing this highly heritable power completely transforms the architecture of your flock, driving up the harvest weight without ever sacrificing the rugged outdoor resilience of your livestock. We're crossing the ocean down to the southern hemisphere, the ultimate testing ground for a true homestead legend. If the heavy American fowl was engineered to dominate the butchering scale, the Australorp was forged in Australia with a relentless mission to monopolize the nesting box. Early 20th century pragmatic breeders took the heavy genetics of the British Black Orpington and initiated a rigorous process of biological reverse engineering. Instead of chasing sheer bulk, they introduced active bloodlines to strip away excess feathers, tighten up the skeletal chassis, and rapidly accelerate the reproductive engine. The outcome was a high-performance machine, a far more compact, aerodynamic bird fiercely focused on churning out a daily harvest of premium-grade eggs. They left the sluggish heaviness of their meat-focused ancestors behind, transforming into pure, unadulterated field efficiency, designed to master the harshest rural environments and ensure your homestead remains fully stocked. When you watch a pitch-black Australorp marching through the pasture right alongside a giant, your mind naturally tries to group them together. Both command immediate attention with stunning, coal-black feathers that ignite into deep emerald flashes under the afternoon sun. Both wear prominent, vibrant red single combs, projecting a strong presence within the flock hierarchy. Yet, their geometric structure tells a completely different story. While the heavy American bird flaunts a flat, broad horizontal back that looks drawn with a straight edge, the Australorp boasts a noticeably curved and fluid silhouette. Her back traces a continuous, smooth shape starting from the base of the neck all the way to the upright tail feathers. This specific anatomical architecture is purposefully engineered to allow the frictionless transit of eggs for a highly active hen, relying on a constantly working reproductive system that never takes a single day off during the peak season. The visual deception shatters the moment you apply the foolproof tactile test every seasoned breeder uses, checking the foundation. The heavy-duty Jersey will always betray her imposing heritage by showing off a distinctly pale yellow sole under her foot. The Australorp stubbornly honors her British roots and strict laying focus by revealing a footpad that shines in a pale pink or grayish-white tone. You won't find a single trace of yellow on the bottom of a pure Australorp's foot. Furthermore, the resting posture of this powerhouse stands slightly more upright. When you run your hands along her underside, you feel a broad, soft, and incredibly deep abdomen. That deep belly is a direct field indicator that her internal organs are cranked to the maximum, processing raw energy and converting it into eggs at a blazing pace. Out in the blazing sun, physical differences become a matter of raw survival. It seems illogical that a bird wearing a dense coat of coal-black feathers can withstand the harsh punishment of summer days pushing past 95 degrees Fahrenheit, yet the Australorp handles the heat with undeniable ease. Her plumage sits tight and close to her body, lacking the heavy, insulating fluff that traps radiant heat in larger breeds. This tight feathering acts as an efficient thermal regulator. Unlike a massive bird that seeks deep shade by noon, this aerodynamic hen keeps hunting. She disperses that blistering heat load with rugged efficiency. They remain extremely docile with the breeder, making daily coop chores stress-free, but they operate like a high-speed radar the second their feet hit the grass, easily dodging ground predators in the open brush. This restless, predator-aware foraging behavior slashes your daily grain expenses. The Australorp is a master of rustic nutrition, possessing a digestive furnace that excels at converting tough pasture grasses, wild seeds, and ground beetles into high-quality protein. When managed on a rotational grazing system, they hit the ground running at dawn, aggressively stripping the pasture of bugs and weed seeds long before they check the main trough. Their feed-to-egg conversion ratio is a thing of absolute beauty. To keep this high-performance machine running without breaking down, you need strict preventative field care. Because they pump out so many heavy eggs, you must provide unlimited oyster shell to prevent their dense bones from turning brittle under immense calcium demand. You must also keep them moving on fresh ground. Locking them inside a small run with unlimited access to high-energy corn turns them dangerously obese, directly crushing their reproductive organs. Let's talk hard production data, because this is where the Australian machine earns her global prestige. A well-managed group of these hens will solidly hand you between 250 to 300 eggs annually. They drop gorgeous, light brown eggs possessing a commercial weight, easily hitting 2 to 2¼ ounces per egg. Their laying rhythm is relentless and methodical, powering straight through the cold months when delicate breeds go on strike. That fast metabolic speed is the ultimate financial divider between these two lineages. While the Colossal Jersey demands months of endless patience and a mountain of daily feed just to stretch her bones, the Australorp fires up her productive engines rapidly. You can confidently expect these young pullets to break into heavy laying between 18 and 20 weeks of age, giving a rapid return on your initial feed investment. Despite being hailed as the queen of the laying flock, her performance on the butchering scale proves why she classifies as an elite dual-purpose animal. A fully mature Australorp flock sire will hit a respectable weight of 8½ pounds, while hens establish a solid foundation around 6½ pounds. Young males destined for the freezer camp will be primed for harvest between 4 and 5 months of age. Consolidating a lean, firm musculature over their medium-sized frame happens efficiently. Keeping them past the half-year mark makes 0 sense for your feed conversion metrics. Their fast metabolism dictates a prompt processing timeline, completely opposite to the heavy American giant that continues expanding its useful volume until 9 months of age. They deliver an excellent table carcass that roasts beautifully. While the classic black coloration is the undisputed icon of the breed, dedicated purists have successfully expanded the genetic pool by offering formidable lines in blue and white varieties. The blue variant perfectly blends that slate gray aesthetic appeal with high-octane egg production, giving your pasture a stunning visual contrast. Meanwhile, the white variety guarantees clean carcasses free of dark pin feathers, a crucial detail if you process meat for demanding local customers. Regardless of the color you select, the core attributes remain untouched. You are securing a lineage that thrives under the sun, forages with fierce determination, and refuses to pause its reproductive cycle. It is a biological certainty that these birds will work tirelessly for your homestead. Beyond her standalone excellence, introducing a pure Australorp Foundation rooster is the ultimate strategic move if your local flock has lost its vigor. This genetic collision transfers a deep, aggressive laying capacity, early maturity, and rugged thermal resistance to the pullets of the next generation. Standing in the dirt, the final choice between these two dark, imposing birds boils down strictly to your setup. If your daily obsession is filling dozens of egg cartons at a breakneck pace and securing a relentless supply regardless of harsh weather, the Australorp is the exact machinery you need. On the flip side, if your vision demands immense patience to produce slow-grown, premium protein and harvest colossal carcasses that crush the butcher scale, the heavy American giant stands totally unrivaled. You never hitch a heavy freight trailer to a sports car, and you never force a fast-track vehicle to pull heavy clay. We've broken down every feather, bone, and field instinct of these two titanic breeds, proving that real success in the pasture never relies on blind luck. It comes from strategic, hard-nosed selection based on actual biological facts. Identifying their deep metabolic differences saves you from costly feeding mistakes and pushes the raw output of your homestead to the highest level of performance. Genetics don't lie, they simply execute the strict physical orders they were engineered to perform over decades of rigorous field selection. Work with focused intelligence, always respect the physiological pace of your livestock, and turn this raw data into the rock-solid foundation of your long-term independence. Let me know down in the comments which of these breeds makes the most sense for your setup. If you got some value out of this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up so we can keep bringing you practical homesteading advice. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.